Good evening. Tonight we're going to be doing salmon with pesto and bread, a fennel salad which is nice and fresh, and some crushed new potatoes. So firstly, what I'm going to do is get the new potatoes on the go. These won't take too long and they should be cooked in cold water with a little bit of salt. The myth that they should be cooked in hot water straight away, and throw that out the window, because basically anything below the ground should be cooked in cold water first. Place that on the stove on a medium heat, bring to the boil and then allow them to simmer. Right, so to the fennel salad. Now this ideally should be made about a couple of hours in advance, because what we're going to do here is use the acid from the lemon juice to break the fennel down. Now the fennel's quite a hardy root vegetable, beautiful flavour, and then we're going to make like a lemon vinaigrette around it and leave it possibly in the fridge for a couple of hours. What you want to do is take the fennel and cut it into quarters through the root, so we're left with a piece that looks like that. From there we're going to remove the root. So take the knife and just take the root completely out, and that will now allow the fennel to fall to pieces. What we want to do is cut it very finely, so we can just, with the knife, nice and thin slices into the bowl. We need to work relatively quickly because the fennel does tend to lose its colour a little bit and oxidise. So into there we need some lemon juice, and squeeze it through your fingers or through the sieve and allow all that lemon juice to go into the fennel. Now we do need to use the full lemon here because the acid from the lemon, as I mentioned before, will break down the fennel. Into there you want to put a little bit of olive oil, but not too much, some salt, some cracked black pepper, and a midge of sugar, because this works with the acid. So this is something that's going to help just take the edge off that lemon juice. Now, that's basically your salad. That should go into the fridge for possibly 2 hours now, and the acid will break that down. What you want to do is come and visit that about every 20 minutes and just give it a turn. And therefore the bits on the top will actually end up getting broken down as well. Okay, the next job then, we want to take these lovely vine tomatoes and try and keep them on the vine if you can. And what we're going to do with these is just to cut them through in half. And these are very, very ripe at the moment. And they're slightly bursting. But what we're going to do is just cut them through. Take a tray. And turn the tomatoes upwards. A little bit of salt, cracked black pepper, and then finally just a drizzle of olive oil over the top. Pop those in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes on about 170, 180 degrees centigrade. Right, my potatoes are boiling now, so what we need to do is just turn those down slightly because we don't want the water to evaporate too much. The next job, take the bread, remove the crusts, and we're going to cut these into little cubes. Pesto, bread, about a quarter of a jar, and all we're going to do is put a little bit of olive oil with that as well, a midge of salt, some cracked black pepper, and just work it in. 4 pieces of salmon, and what we want to do is transfer them to the tray. So a little bit of grease or oil, just a touch of oil, not too much. Take a piece of the fish and just drag it across the tray. So now the tray is completely covered with the oil. Place the fish on, all the same way, on the greased tray, and then take your crumb and just place on top of the fish, nice and even. Any bits that fall off, you can easily place them back on top again. And we should cook this fish through, probably for about 8 to 10 minutes. So the tomatoes are ready, nicely cooked, and the salmon is ready as well, so you can see how they've come together relatively quickly. That's a good size for the fish, because the crust, as you can see, and the fish are cooking at the same time. The only thing we need to do now is, we can serve the potatoes whole if you wish, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush them slightly with the back of a spoon. You're not trying to make mashed potato, but what you are doing is just breaking them down. A little bit of salt, a touch of cracked black pepper, a midge of olive oil, just a touch of the pesto, but only a little bit. And just work that round the pan for a moment. And something else that works nicely in there as well is if you've got any lemon juice left, the lemon juice would go nicely with the potatoes. Well, there you are. That's your pesto crusted salmon with roasted tomatoes, fennel salad and crushed new potatoes. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you next week.